Hello, buddies. Today we're going to be going over SMDM, a network. This will be the beginning of a series we'll start as far as covering certain points throughout a map and what the openings look like, what are the key parts. I'm not going to be doing an analysis of these matches. It's mostly just to say, hey, if you have a network, here are the things you should consider. I've streamed a lot of games, So hopefully I'll be able to bring a lot of experience and cool maybe insights to those newer teams out there, especially as far as what you should consider when you have a network as the midpoint. Now, we're going to be going over KRC versus Philo and their opening and talking about the key parts in which they try to get to. I'm not going to be criticizing them in any ways. This is more just for educational purposes. As far as which point I'll cover next, we'll leave that up to the comments to get started. So whichever point has the most likes down below, I'll go ahead and review that one next and show you guys just what all I know about that. Okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and start diving into a network. What are the key parts of a network? Let's go ahead and jump over to ScratchSketch real quick. Now, it's always good to name the parts of the map when you're playing a match because it's much easier to refer to. Instead of saying, hey, it's D4, E4, bottom of E, top of E5, that sort of thing, you just say gardens. That way your team knows what you're talking about. To the bottom of gardens, we have hockey stick. Then we have five-way. From a ally standpoint, here you would want to set up a garrison up in gardens first. You move south into hockey stick, and then you make your advance into five-way. We'll often see trucks make a move over here off the opening to help secure this. From the Axis side, pretty much the same thing. You're going to want to send a truck down here over into five-way to get presence to help offset the allies' presence. Why? Because if we zoom in a little bit, either side, from the ally side, you can come around here and you can wrap around and get presence on a network. You can go up on the hedge right here, and you can also get bodies to have more supporting fire into a network from the ally side. From the Axis side, if you're able to get control five-way, well, you can go in and push up to hockey stick, and you can go and push up to gardens, and then you can start wrapping bodies around like this and get control over the front line. And depending on the fifth point, if it's cattle sheds or breed court, then you can wrap around and start getting pressure on breed court battery or go over to cattle sheds. A lot of possibilities from both sides. Let's go ahead and walk through that as far as inside the game goes. Here we have five-way on the left-hand side. See the 5 roads leading out and out of it. Then we progress on forward. We go up to hockey stick right here. And these trenches, always some good fights in these trenches. And then we see gardens right here. This is where usually the allies have a good opening garrison up to help support the attack on hockey stick, and then if they get wiped, to support the attack on five-way. Now, if we flop over to the east side of the map, we see Pierre's Farm. Why is Pierre's Farm important? Well, you have a chimney up there in which you can mount an MG and survey the battlefield. Let's go and take a look here at the MG position. If we go over to Pierre's Farm. Off the opening from both sides, we usually see some squads being dedicated over here. And then they can go up on this building, usually with a truck, and then they park that puppy right there, and they get on top of this chimney, and this MG up here can monitor all of this ground from this one simple location. So very, very key MG spot. If we jump back here to this area, this is also where we see MGs. This is called Warner Bros. Warner Bros. Because you have this nice little Warner Bros.-esque looking water tower. But MGs from the Axis side usually perch on top of here and are able to monitor all of this open field and able to support the attack on a network as well. Sometimes we see one MG up here or two MGs depending on the team, but you can get a ton of crossfire from this one point on the map and shut down the east side wheat field, and along with the Pierre's Farm MG roof, you can also attack the east side wheat field. So very, very key spots. We'll go and look at these on the ScratchSketch. When it comes to the ScratchSketch, we'll take a look here. And this is what I'm talking about right here as far as the Pierre's Farm roof. And then down to the south, you have Warner Bros. Right in this location. Now, as far as where we usually see the garrisons go up, we'll go ahead and go to our handy dandy garrison marker. From the Axis side, we most likely are going to see it right back there. And then we're going to see one over there, and then possibly one down here by that location. Because all of this is open field, and we usually don't see the garrison being pushed up too far on this area, and then the next garrison will probably go up in this location if they're able to cap first. From the ally side, we usually see the garrison go up at gardens, like I mentioned before, and then we'll see a garrison go right back behind there because once again, the hedge coverage you have to consider. And then over on the right-hand side, we usually see a garrison go up near the trench system. So it'll be 3 opening garrisons for the Allies, and then 3 opening garrisons for the Axis. Bonus garrisons, well, you could probably think of maybe one over here as far as a reflank goes for both sides to put down and maybe get some pressure on dugout, because if you get control of dugout, you're able to flank to the east and get some pressure on 5-way. But teams most likely will concentrate a lot of bodies on 5-way in the opening, and they'll deal with the pressure from dugout. Over on the east-hand side, you could see a garrison go up here for the Axis, and then for the Allies, one up there. That's usually what you're looking at for an opening garrison situation. Then for OPs, we go over to our handy-dandy OP icon. You'll see OPs go up here, and as far as hockey stick, you can keep a staggered OP approach just in case the frontline OP gets wiped. And then some OPs will go up here behind those buildings, back there, and they're just to make their way inside the point. Over on the east side, you'll see the battle over Pierce Farm and OPs being put all around the point. Not 6 OPs, but usually at least 1 or 2 OPs up by Pierce Farm to help control that area. If you go back to the KRC, and we have one Stewie right here, long distance rocket snipes with this kind of truck. Did a good job of dodging over there to the right. This truck right here heading towards the point nice and smoothly. Rocket sails over there to the left. Now here, important thing to remember is monitoring or looking at other matches and understanding where the truck snipes usually come in. This truck did an excellent job of not going down the main road right here, but diverting over to the right-hand side and expecting that rocket snipe off of the opening. And that way it'll get to the point safely. But for those competitive teams out there, it's very important to study opening truck route snipes. Very important to study so you don't get yourself caught in these type of situations. Because usually the enemy team will be preparing that. I'm seeing it become more common on the console side as far as truck snipes go. PC side, pretty much 100% guaranteed you're going to see truck snipes. Just got to be prepared for those and understand what the key truck routes are, what are the normal truck routes, what are sort of unconventional truck routes to help move away from those opening truck snipes. Let's go ahead and watch the opening here between these two teams. Truck did a good job of dodging over there to the right. Everybody into the hard cap we go. We see the flood of bodies working their way. We do see a large stream. All right, let's go and take a look at this situation, shall we? We do see the Allies get control of gardens. They have one Gary up here, but I believe this truck on the left side did get sniped. We see front door pressure come in. We have the medium tank right there pushing on over. Good presence over here in the wheat field. These guys may not be able to get too far, but they have presence over there at least. See some bodies up at Pierre's farm, and they'll be able to get on that roof and offer great MG fire. But what is missing, everybody? What is missing on this map? Well, they do not have control over 5-way over here. There are no bodies here because the opening truck, I believe, did get sniped on the left side. And what's going to happen here is that Pathfinder is going to be able to push up through there, get control of hockey stick, and then move on north into gardens. And wham bam shabammo, they could be in for a really good time. Let's go and take a look what happened from this garrison. So I think maybe the left truck did get sniped. Free to clarify that in chat. Because at least on the PC side, we do. The trench making his way. Schindler's Fist. Cap progress goes back. What do we have here on the map? Well, we have Pathfinders in control. We have one body, Schindler's Fist, making his way over to 5-way. But Pathfinder's going to be able to flood bodies over here, flex bodies from back here or wherever, and offer some great crossfire on top of the point. They can fill these OPs quickly, get up on this stone wall right here, and fire into the back of the Allies. As one of the key parts for the Allies off the opening is this hedge line. You will often see 1 or 2 OPs in these trenches, along with a possible 1 or 2 Stewies. One Stewie will be this way, facing that way, and then one Stewie will be over here. And if the Axis are able to get control over here, they can flood this with AT guys, come over here with rockets, and pop all of this right here. And plus, with artillery raining down as well, they can really smash the hell out of that. That's a very, very key part of a network, is getting control of 5-way. In favor of Pathfinders. Good opening fight so far. Sorry, that VIP notification threw me. There's the rockets that come flying in from that flank. My thoughts. Stucco. Maybe feeling a little bit confident here. Going on about a minute further down the map, we do see KRC contesting, but Pathfinders once again have great control over 5-way, and they're going to be able to push up here, get pressure on hockey stick, and potentially over at gardens. Now KRC has to respond by sending more bodies over to gardens away from this frontal attack. Pathfinders has cleared out the hard cap. They've captured this key hedge line right here. Got the OPs, no light tanks to worry about. And now they can focus on sending extra bodies over here down to the, that's going to be to the east side, and then seeing if they can make any front door. But once you're able to get control of the hard cap on a network, this is going to be a hold action. You're not going to be able to really push to the open field unless the enemy team's just not watching. You're going to want to send bodies over to 5-way so they could push up to hockey stick and then push up to gardens. And then over here on the east side, you can flex bodies over to Pierce Farm to create another ramp. Moving on 30 seconds, we'll take a look how the situation developed. We see Pathfinders making their way past hockey stick now, coming into gardens. They have good control over this, and they flex some bodies over to dugout to cover this flank over here. They have full control over this hill. And then we see the hard cap in good control as well. And these guys are going to be able to get crossfire on anybody trying to make their way amongst across these hedges. And they can also flex to get anything that's trying to come across this open field right there. So great job by Pathfinders in controlling all this, opening truck snipe, and just creating really great map control. Now, real quick, this was the post-cap situation, everybody. Pathfinders just capped this, and what are we looking at here once again for the map situation? What have we talked about? Gardens control, the allies have it. They're moving back into hockey stick, and then they'll move down to 5-way to try and wrap around and get pressure behind AA network. They can also flex on that hedge line right up here, and they can get more crossfire into the point as well. Now, remember, some teams, it's all about how wide you want to play. Personally, I would like to see maybe one Gary go up over here just so you can flex some bodies and protect your reflank option to the west of your 5 points area. So that way the enemy can't just pour down from Dugout Hill right here and move into behind you on 5 points. You'll want to send maybe at least 2 or 3 guys to monitor this area just to see if the enemy's playing full map edge to map edge. Then over here on the front door, we usually see this as a stalemate off of the opening until the heavy tanks roll up and start able to splash, unless you're totally able to dominate in gunfights, and then maybe we'll see a breakthrough coming along this hedgerow right there. On the right-hand side, they are playing a nice curvature sort of defense because their 5th point is Rue de la Guerre. And this way, they can create essentially a front line on their 4th point, and that way defense can act as a nice or can focus on the back line right here and to watch all this going on. And that way the defense isn't stretched to monitor anything out here or anything. They could just focus on the back line in a nice contained area. Over here on the right-hand side, they do have control over Pierce. So once again, they can get that MG and lay crossfire into the point over here. And then down to the south, we have Warner Bros, like I mentioned before, and the MGs can park up there and get crossfire across right here as well, and help monitor all this wheat field. Now, what are the weak points for each side when it comes to A network as far as Achilles heel goes? Well, in the back line for the Axis, it's going to be right back here. We often see teams leave that part uncovered, and the enemy will get a garrison back here and be able to flood the point within a few seconds or a minute or so. Then surprisingly, we also see the wheat field over here to the right side where enemy could sneak through the garrison network and everything, get up a garrison in the wheat field, and then flood to the east of the point and attack it. Then I think those are the main 2 spots. Sometimes we see something go up here, but the allies usually, or the Axis can usually contain that pretty well. And that's usually taken care of. From the ally standpoint, what are the weak points? Well, we often see up here, this area not being covered by an outpost and a garrison going up to the north. The enemy will flood down here, the Axis that is, and they will just really spread out and dominate this whole area. Because this area up here is where we often see the tricky garrison network, like I mentioned before. One garrison going back up here and not necessarily covering that border line, and then the other garrison maybe going up near hard cap or something. But this is where you need to take some OPs and put them in this area in order to help act as additional radar between where you have 2 garrisons. But let's move on to the end of the match, and we'll see how KRC was able to exploit this. We see supplies falling over to the east side, coming into the wheat field. Remember, supplies are hard to find in the wheat field sometimes, and so unless you have somebody nearby always monitoring the area, if they fall, it can be hard to find them in the wheat field. Now we see a garrison go up towards the east, right in the wheat field, and KRC has a chance to spawn bomb it. They rush into the point. Pathfinders, though, control a whole bunch of parts on it. whole bunch of parts around, and they're responding from 5-way, and they're able to get crossfire inside the point. They respond from their garrisons over to the south and the east, and they're able to just lay hate all across the point. Commander Denny over here in the green hopper as well, just monitoring everything. All right, now this was another match that I cast on SMDM recently. I just want to show you their opening as far as how they approached it from the Allies
rockets
side. We see one medium up here, and we see 2 Stewies, transport trucks all flooding in. We have a supply truck going over to the left.
All right, so don't expect to see the truck from the...
Now, this is what you can accomplish if you practice enough. We have 2 Stewies moving over here to the south, making their way in. We see the bodies of infantry making their way as well. The truck got sniped earlier, but they're all making their way in. The La Campaña Maldita is there inside the point.
The Allies will be a little bit delayed here, a little bit delayed. 2 Stewies making their way towards the point.
A lot of bodies over here at 5-way for La Campaña Maldita. And we go in and grab the pen. We do see a whole bunch here that's going to be able to overwhelm the Ocelot's infantry. We see the Stewies making their way up here to that hedgerow that I mentioned earlier. Infantry in support. Some bodies moving to the wheat field, but not too much, including Dingo Pup.
5-way. Somebody's over here for Ocelots. Maybe a little bit too late at 5-way, but we'll see.
Now watch this. Watch this. One Stewie has already parked itself on this side of the hedge, and the other Stewie's rolling on up. These guys rehearse this.
Camp progress does come for the Allies. Stewie's getting to the hard camp here, right behind this hedge, nice and protected. And look at that view.
Look how beautiful that looks. One Stewie on the left, one Stewie on the right, and they're inside the circle. 2 3-man crews providing a ton of cap weight on the point. Now, from the Axis standpoint, what you can do to prepare for this is essentially you can have 2 guys, 3 guys, whoever it may be, come up here and practice putting proxy satchels down on the hedge, because this strategy is so common from an ally standpoint. They're going to send bodies here into this trench right here, get OPs up, maybe get Stewies up, and so you could train your assault guys, engineers, AT guys to get some satchels right here up on the hedge and set them for 30, 60 seconds, whatever it may be, in order to splash this. Axis artillery should be falling right here as well to help support the defense, but you can always use proxy satchels right here. This is a fantastic location for proxy satchels.
Beautiful coordination. The Stewies get on either side of the hedge. That was well rehearsed by the Ocelots. Very well done, buddies. Look at that coverage that they'll get. Rocket sails ahead.
Now, even though the Stewies made it there nice and safely, LCM does have control over 5-way, and they'll be able to get rocket guys over here on the hedges and fire into the Stewies. So just because you're able to practice that, you got to be able to dedicate some bodies over to 5-way. Not criticizing Ocelots at all. This is just, I'm using this for educational purposes. Because I don't know what happened as far as their comms go. Maybe they had to relocate bodies to somewhere else. Maybe some people had miscomms, whatever it may be. I'm just using this for example.
Over into the back line, trying to get the garrison. This is a very common garrison spot back here.
Taking a look at the map, we have the 2 Stewies inside the point. We have control up to the north. 5-way, those in control of LCM, so they'll be able to get flanking fire inside the point. Pierre's farm control, and for the Axis, 1 recon vehicle moving over to the south. Now keep in mind that you can also have a garrison over here for the Allies to help feed bodies down Pizza Slice and help prevent the enemy from flanking too far around, and also to help support Pierre's farm.
Here to the south of A Network. We'll monitor that area and see if they're able to get satchels right on that hedge line, right next to those Stewies.
We see Captain Finagle moving up here. I don't know if he had satchels or not, but he had the possibility, if he had the satchel load out, to get a satchel right there on the hedge to wipe out these 2 Stewies. Especially if you get 2 or 3 satchels on that hedge, you could plan out some really cool things to help ruin the Allied opening.
Finag is on. Lyman Tekon looking able to get some AT rockets on that puppy.
We see the MG on the back roof right here, providing some crossfire into the wheat field.
Truck back here has gotten over to LCM once again here, but the Axis SLs.
Here the Axis have pushed on behind 5-way, making their way up to Hockey Stick and going into Gardens now, and they're going to be able to create a wrap around on the Allies in order to help suppress their front line.
That pushed all the way up. Dewey. First cap here going to LCM here.
And LCM here caps the point. One of the Stewies had to relocate to help support the other part because they were losing. I'm guessing Ocelots had a game plan to say, hey, we're losing the point. If we don't want to waste the Stewie, we'll use it to do this if we start to lose it. All right, everybody. Hopefully that will be a good intro to SMDM network. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them below. Just wanted to give a brief intro of the different strong points. I will just do one last quick review here. We have gardens over here. Gardens, hockey stick, 5-way down to the south. To the east, we have Pierre's Farm Roof, which has a fantastic AMG angle on top of it. Then down to the south, we have Warner Bros, where we expect more opening MGs as well to help cover the wheat field right here and offer a great, mostly 360 view around to be able to monitor. To the east side of the point right here, we should see an MG for the Axis monitoring that road, so the Allies just can't push down that road for free. But these MGs should be able to support the wheat field over there to the east. And if the Axis are able to get control of Pierre's Farm, once again rushing the trucks so they can climb on immediately, these MGs should be able to lay a lot of crossfire as well. To the west, we often see maybe just a couple, like a garrison over here and then a garrison over here for the Allies, just to have one or two bodies to prevent any counterflank onto 5-way, just to help neutralize the enemy if they should try to outflank them. And then to the east, we have a garrison maybe up for the Allies, just to constrain the pizza slice push by the Axis. And of course, same thing for the Axis goes down here with a Gary, and then to help just monitor this area, which once again, just a couple bodies over here to monitor the wide flanks on the map. Then of course you have to consider the 4th point flex. All right, hopefully that will be a good overview to get us started here with this point SMDM network. For the next video, we'll go ahead and leave it up to the comments to get started. Go ahead and drop a comment below for the next point you want me to review and talk about. And then we'll see which one gets the most likes or the most comments, whatever it may be. And I'll go ahead and do a video on that one next. All right. And if you have any questions, once again, go and drop them below. Feel free to drop a like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff, right? Plenty more content to come, guys. And all right. I'll see you next time, buddy. Have a good one.